Oops. Oh, very close.
You are funny. Leroy, I was trying to find my clip for my hair. He's got a man bun.
See what my poor dog has to put up with?
Meet Leroy, guys. If you've not met Leroy before, I'd love to introduce him to you. So this is Leroy. This is our fur baby. One of our babies that we have. So we just didn't give birth to him, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. He's my absolute pride and joy. And
he hates the camera.
Yeah, he's so funny, isn't he? So funny. Okay.
Hey, Derek.
Hey, guys. Nice to see you all. Let me just pop him down. He just sits at our feet and lets us do our live. So, hi, guys. Welcome to our Get Healthy and Happy experience. It's so good to have you on board with us tonight. So we thought we'd come a little bit earlier to you just because we can.
And because it's the first of the month.
First of the month. Unbelievable,
so it's our first one for the month.
And you've got the sniffles, and now he's passed the sniffles on to me, which I'm not sure why you've got the sniffles. But anyway, I said to him, has he got a cold? And he's like, no, I don't have a cold. So something's giving him hay fever, and I'm not sure what it is. So, guys, we're bringing this weekly call to you so that we can bring you insight into some of the things that have happened in our life over, like, lots of stuff goes on in our life over a week. So 7 days. So many things can happen, so many things can change. And, we come to you and discuss anything from business to fitness to health to general life experiences and, what goes on between the two ears. So that's, our favorite topics to talk to you about. So we do that all while trying to live our best life or the best way that we know how so that we're able to survive in the world that we all live in. And we all have to survive in this world. So I don't know about you guys or I know about Jace, but, do you face pressures in life? Like, do some things just feel sometimes a little bit overwhelming? You're just a little bit like, I'm not sure how I'm going to conquer this week or even today. So I felt a little bit like that today. It's been a tough day for me. I have to come clean and let you know of that. So Jason's going to knock the table over for us.
It's so hard sitting on these chairs.
So I would have to say that, we can either be, like, I don't know how to put this, but, like average and not strive to be better, or we can seek different ways to like how we address things in our life. So, hey, Gunfield, nice to have you on. How's New Zealand? So, like we can, really look at the way or look at things that happen in our life and how we do address them. So we've got a couple of things that we'd like to talk to you about tonight. I've got a few notes that I do stay on topic, just make sure that my dress and my attire is all comfortable. So start of the month, 1st of April. So we're January, February, March, April. Unbelievable,
Yep.
Fourth month in.
Yep. It's going so fast these days.
So fast these days.
Well, I was talking to someone the other day, and we used to say when we were younger that how the days used to go quick.
Yeah.
And that was the weeks.
Yeah.
And now it's the months.
Yeah.
Are flying by.
Totally. Stevie, is that right? I'm really struggling with being happy with my body. I think thank you so much for popping that up. I can absolutely relate to you. And, I think what age in our life do we get to a point where we go, I'm absolutely happy with my body? And I don't know whether, I'd love to know, like, if you're one of those people that are just totally satisfied, no lump, no bump, no nose, no eyes, no chest, no stomach, like nothing worries you. Like, I would absolutely love to know who you are and if that is you, because that is amazing. And how do you actually get to that point? And I feel like that is like a constant, work in progress with me for sure, is just that, whole, it's almost like you've got this dysmorphia about how you do feel when you look in the mirror or what it is that you do see. So 59, it doesn't stop, does it? And I know my mum, she was born in 54, so she is 60, someone knows 54 straight off their head, what year it is. And that's what I said to my mum not long ago. I'm like, Mum, are you ever going to be satisfied? Like, she'll say, oh, I've gained a bit of weight, or, I've, like whatever it might be. And I'm like, she looks amazing and she's still not totally satisfied. And doesn't that go to show you that what our parents talk about then passes on to us?
Yep.
Isn't it, as children? So that's an interesting thing to see where some of our thoughts do come from.
Which I've never had that problem.
Why? Why have you never had that problem?
Because my parents have never been worried about,
No, I don't know.
Like imaging wise, like it's
Imaging.
Image. Our self-image.
Yeah.
Like it's never been the way, as long as, always made sure they look tidy and clean when we walk out the door, but it's never been so much emphasis on the way we look on the outside. It's always about how we are on the inside.
Yeah. And when you say that, like, you are probably a much happier person because you're not so focused on the external. But like we've talked about, for me, it can be something that I'm not seeing properly when I look in the mirror, and you'll say to me, that's not what I see, and I'm like, but that's what I see, and then you can step away. It's, to me, it's like, when you see a photo, I've got a photo here of me as a baby, but I won't totally show you the full picture because it might not be allowed on social media. You can look at a photo and think, I pull it to pieces, and then come back to it like in an hour or another day and not see the same thing. We can reshift our thoughts and, pick out the positives instead of just the negatives. Isn't it true?
Yeah, very true.
So, like over the last couple of weeks, we've talked about exercise and diet, and how not one exercise regime fits all people, and how not one, turn that call off. Not one diet fits all people as well. And I have to say, like, we've been talking to a few people over the week, and like what they do in their diet. I actually trained with a girl, and we were talking about certain foods, and she works with a bunch of nurses, and some of the foods that they're consuming in their staff rooms, and just that I guess foods that kind of give you that real good feel hormone and happy endorphins, as they call it. So it's like you get that hit of, like when you eat something. But what's a long-term effect, or how does it make you feel, after you've had it? A lot of them are saying, like they've got weight gain, bloated stomachs, tired, lethargic, all of those kind of things. So you get that immediate hit with some of the foods that you might eat. But what does it do long term? And I know for myself, like I've done 29 days, Jace. 29 days so far. So no, tomorrow's number 30. No alcohol, no sugar or refined sugar. So still like like fruits and vegetables, and like I use cacao nibs in like beautiful like whipped strawberries for ice cream at nighttime.
And it tastes really good too.
Super cool.
Yeah.
But no refined sugar, no soy. Because we know that really interferes with, especially women's hormones. No dairy and no gluten. So there's some of the things I've avoided. Have I found it a bit of a struggle? Yeah, of course. Like anything that you want, in life that it is good, takes hard work. But it definitely has, like 29 days, like I said. So, we're looking for our next crew of people that will come through and do it with us for the next 30 days. So if you're looking to break the cycle, or you're wanting a fresh start, then, we're definitely, we're the people for you to be able to help you take that through. So I just missed out how I overcome this. Really want to be happy when I look in the mirror. I diet all the time and excessive, but still nothing. Stevie, there's a really great book, and I was going to talk about it a little bit later on, but I might just say that, and it's so true, like we can talk and look in the mirror and we can try to control our feelings and our thoughts as to what we do see. But this is an amazing book, and it's by a woman named Mel Robbins, and her book that she's just released is Take Control of Your Life, and she's got some really amazing guidelines and tips as to, how we talk to ourselves, what causes our anxiety, what causes stress, what causes fear, and what stops us in our tracks, and how we're able to move forward. And it's just, I was just saying to the girls that I on our team training call tonight that, we really do like stop cold in our tracks because that fear of moving forward just totally overwhelms us. And sometimes when we get such a fear and a negative thoughts about ourselves, it can really, it can stop us from progressing in life. It's definitely just that constant holdback, isn't it?
Yep. Fear is, I mean, there's two sides of fear, I guess. One fear is we're scared of failing.
Yeah.
And then you can have another fear, which is, we've probably heard in the past, is having a godly fear. And that's, not, it's more of a love of a fear. So it's a different fear than being scary. So godly fear is that we don't want to upset our creator. And that's that kind of thing. Or my fear is I don't want to upset Kyla. Or that could be a scary fear. I'm not too sure, but no.
Yeah, totally.
But yes, fear definitely in our heads is definitely a killer.
Yeah, Yeah. So a healthy fear. So like, I
Mm.
guess you're saying too, like a healthy fear in terms of, like I have fear of not upsetting my father.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I fear him for life or death. It's
No.
just that I fear, it's a healthy fear,
Mm.
not to upset him. Like I, don't want to upset you, like, so it's like there's a good fear and a negative fear. So we're just got to be really careful as to which one is what stops us cold in our tracks. So we had a bit of a, what would you say, like, we re-signed. We do foster or respite. We do a respite and emergency care for children. And
for those that don't know,
for those don't know what that is, I'll let you go.
No, you can.
No, you go. You go.
So basically, we get to help full-time foster carers have a break. So if they need a break from the young kids that they look after, they give us a call, and the kids will come to our place. Basically from babies till about 4 years old. That's our range.
Yeah.
Or the department may ring up and have an emergency care, so they may ring us up and say, "Hey, look, we need to place a child in your care for the time being."
Yeah.
So that's what we do. So over the weekend, or a week ago, we had a call that we had to look after a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I'll let you tell the rest.
Yeah. So Warren's just said, "Where's your mustache gone?" Do you know what, Warren?
Thanks, Ryan. You noticed.
Do you know what? The funniest thing was, like, I was seeing Jace off and on all day today, and when we sat down to do our team call, I don't know, a couple of hours ago, I kind of looked at him and I was like, what have you done to your face? And it took me a bit to realize that he doesn't have his mustache on. So yes, Warren, that has gone, which is good. I'm glad that's left the building. It's a happy day. So won't have to like fight through the whiskers anymore. So that's cool. So so Jace has just said what it is that it does entail, so foster children, and we had a 2 and a 3-year-old, and I think that we're feeling the effects of the children today. Well, I know I am, and it probably was like when you're dealing with so much emotion, it really takes its toll. And so tonight I want to talk about, do children suffer with anxiety, and is that possible that would exist?
And is that the same as adults?
Yeah, well, yeah, and is it the same? I mean, it definitely isn't. It's not the same, because we know that adults suffer with anxiety at different levels, and that's brought upon by money stresses or family issues, or what have I got down here? We've got work, we've got family, we've got an uncertain future, relationships. Like there's so many things that can bring on anxiety for an adult. But when you talk about a child, it's like, does a child even know what the word anxiety means? And absolutely not. A 2 and 3-year-old, definitely doesn't know what anxiety is, and they don't know how to deal with the effects or what comes with the life that they may have had. So what I found was interesting is that adults and children have anxiety, and if an adult doesn't learn to control their anxiety, they can then pass it on to their children. And some of the telltale signs that I've seen with children is like the biting of the fingernails, the picking of the fingernails. If you guys know or have children that do have anxiety, like if you're happy to share with it, like what would be some of the telltale signs that you have seen in a child in terms of anxiety that they might be going through? And to me, some of the things can be like, what did we see on the weekend? Like full scratches. Like I thought there'd been an operation on this little girl's 2-year-old's ears, that she just scratches the backs of her ears until they bleed and they're red raw. I mean, so that's a sign of, something's going on, isn't it? And I think, like with, the little boy, like his tantrums, oh my goodness. Like we have each other to fall back on, thank goodness. But I honestly don't know, like if someone is a parent and they are, suffering with extreme anxiety or depression or drugs or alcohol or mental illness is involved, and to have children that have also got high anxiety, like I just talk about throw a whole lot of stuff in the mix, eh?
Yeah. I mean, he really got himself worked up over something so minor that, we just had to, let him run the course.
Yeah. Run the gauntlet.
Yeah, run the gauntlet. And then when he'd gone through it, he would be fine, come out with a smile and as if nothing had happened. But,
yeah, totally.
You really feel for the poor little fellow, you know, when they're going through that whole feeling of it.
So I guess the thing is then children don't know how to explain that to you, and they don't know what to say. So I've got a few tips tonight, because I know that as a child and myself growing up that I, you know, was diagnosed with depression at the age of 11. So we're talking about 2 and 3 year olds that we've, you know, had the privilege of looking after, but also going through that level of stress with ourselves, you know, how to deal and how to look after these children without, you know, like blowing your lid, because, you know, when a child is screaming for 40 or 50 minutes non-stop, and, you know, feet are kicking a door and the wall and the screams are just like high pitches, it's kind of like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? So I guess, like I said, you know, the fact that we've got each other, we can calm ourselves down. We can talk about, you know, honestly and openly, you know, like what these children have been through, what they're going through, which, you know, we still don't even know the full events of what their life has been. They've only been taken out of the home since January of this year. So they've only had February, March with a full-time foster carer. Then they've been put into respite a couple of times. I mean, you can't even understand, you know, where these little people are at. So some of the things that these children can go through is that they have fear, like unreasoned fear. They have feelings of loneliness, sadness, lack of power. They have pain in their body that's unexplained. So they just, you know, say, I've got a sore tummy, mummy, or I've got a pain in my head. They feel lack of power, like they just can't control anything that's going on. They might have constant headaches. They might have digestion problems. They might throw tantrums. They might have defiant behaviors. So, you know, these are some of the things that, you know, are stand out. And, you know, for myself growing up, I would always, you know, say to Dad, oh, I don't really want to do that, or, you know, I'm too shy, like I don't feel comfortable, and like my parents never really pushed us into doing things. And sometimes I think, if only it kind of could have been put into it's really hard as a parent to know what's right and wrong, to, you know, take a child that's got, you know, a high stress levels or anxiety and say, okay, like, do we put them into like a bit of activity with other children and help them, you know, move through that? Do we wrap them in, you know, cotton wool and just let them do what they choose to do? It's a really hard situation. And I think, like, with, you know, the 2 we had over the weekend, like even taking them to the beach, you know, obviously I feel like with this little girl that water could have been something that was used to maybe not, I don't know, that she doesn't love. And so, you know, her being near water was something that was, you know, a stressful period for her. But, you know, how do you show her to be comfortable and that she's okay and that she's going to be safe? So there's that fine line, isn't there? So some of the things to look out for is, you know, with a child is a checklist to recognize anxiety. So this is what I want to, you know, leave with you guys tonight, that if you do have a child that is, you know, got anxiety or depression, to first of all acknowledge it, you know, be, you know, okay with the fact that it does exist and that child or that baby might need some help. So they imagine the worst. There's always something that's bad that's going to happen. So they're always, you know, constantly worrying about things. They worry about things that might happen. You know, what if, you know, you drive down the road and, you know, someone has a car. I don't know, like, I know it's not the most positive thing to talk about, but we need to talk about it because it does exist. Over exaggerating negative things, inflexibility, such as self-criticism. So they're criticizing themselves all the time. So when we're talking about Stevie is, you know, talking about, you know, we have negative self-image of ourselves, we, you know, then pass that on to our children without realizing it's not a deliberate thing, but we need to be aware of what's going on with us so that we can help them. The anger, so we saw that this weekend, you know, extreme anger, even as such a young person, aggression, and the aggression can be discreet. So we've seen with kids, you know, like they can, you know, do something like in the bedroom, like push or pinch or bite without someone being around, but they've got these things that they're, you know, obviously facing anxiety. Crying, physical complaints, avoiding places or things, they don't want to do certain things, or they don't want to go somewhere. So that's a really big sign that your child, or the child that you might know, has got, high levels of anxiety, sleeping difficulties, nightmares, night terrors, perfectionism, even at such a young age. Like one of the little girls that we looked after, remember, she was just always tidying and straightening and cleaning. And, so that was obviously something that she, was starting we might laugh about and think it's cute and it's funny, but what are these things leading onto that we're going to have to, try to help them through? So, and it being excessive with their clinginess, procrastination, poor memory, withdrawal from activities, eating disturbances, and also tantrums like we've talked about, and difficult behavior. So if you know a child, or someone that is facing some of these issues, then we need to give these children a chance, and we need to absolutely reach out and help these little people to be able to, face some of the things that they're going through. So I've just mentioned to at Stevie, I think I missed a couple of your comments, but I just wanted to say again, Mel Robbins, Take Control of Your Life, an amazing book. And one of the great examples that is really to the start of the book, she talks about, or she's talking to a guy just like you and I, well, not like me, but a guy like you, and, guys that are on here. Hi, Morag. Hey, Jack. How you going? How's life treating you? Hey, Kel. And she talks about this I say a guy, but a dad. I think he's 47, and he is a school teacher, but he goes, I want to do more. Like, I feel anxious, and I feel like these fears that, like, life is just consuming me, and I'm just never going to get to what it is that I really want to do. And she said, what is it that you want to do? And he goes, well, you might think I'm a bit crazy with my idea. And she basically says throughout the book as well that why would she think he's crazy for his idea? But his idea was to open up a wine bar. Like, that's his dream and that's his passion. Like, he loves to talk about wine. And so she took him through a few steps as to, like, not be so overwhelmed with his end goal, but to be able to start with his goal and to be able to work through it and to have a plan. And it was so simple when she deconstructed it. I was thinking degustation, French, when you go down and sit for 10 or 12 meals, whatever. So she broke it into 12 meals, 12 little mini meals, and she absolutely made it achievable for this guy to be able to walk out of her room and to be able to set things in place to be able to achieve what it was that he wanted in his life. So we talked about, like our negative or positive self-image. So, what is it that, makes us think, terrible things about ourselves? What do we need to set in place? It could be that we write on our mirror and say that I am amazing, I am beautiful. This is one of the most amazing things I saw a few weeks ago on, I think it was SBS or Channel 2, and it was this guy was helping these girls to feel better about themselves, and he put this woman in about a group of like 20 women, and he made this girl sit in front of each of these women, and each of these women spoke to this woman and told her about themselves, who I am. They had purple hair, they had tattoos, they had, earrings, they had, like all different women from all walks of life. And he said to her, he goes, this is what women are. They're all shapes and sizes. They're all different, and there's no one size fits all. And I think once we begin to realize that about ourselves, and we stop beating ourselves up that we don't have the perfect breasts or the perfect bum or the perfect this or the perfect that, because there is no perfect, is there?
No, it goes with guys as well. We probably talk about women more, but there's plenty of guys out there that have self-imaging problems as well. So, which is, we see it on social media, and social media is a good platform, definitely. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. Yeah. But also it can be an evil as well. And as we talked about tonight with anxiety with young kids, we want to be able to bring them up in a way so as they get older, they'll be able to handle life, because, as we know, life is definitely difficult with the things that we get thrown at us. So there are steps and tools that you can use, and
and I think that just comes back around to, so finishing off, like, is health and wellness, isn't it?
Yep.
Like keeping healthy. Today's the 1st of April. It might be still early enough in some parts of the world for you to be able to do some exercise, and like to start off, like eating one healthy meal in the day, then add 2 healthy meals. I was listening to a girl today about, she has not a cheap meal, just a meal that she just lets her hair down and just
Mhm.
enjoys what she's doing, at the end of the week. And I thought, really, like 4.5 days to stay on track throughout the week is not really that much to ask.
No.
And to feel better about yourself, like it does take motivation and it does take commitment for sure. But if you hang around with like-minded people and you want to be better, and you want to, just not be average, you want to get past that, then it's definitely possible to be able to do that. So I think there's a whole lot of tips tonight that we've talked about, and like relieving some of the anxiety or the pressures is that we need to not worry about yesterday, and we need to not worry about tomorrow, because we can't do anything about it. We need to just think about today and getting through today. And I think that is just the most gold information ever, is that the stresses of life can just overwhelm each of us because we think too far forward, and we put too many financial burdens on top of us because we're keeping up with the Joneses. And I think it was, when you and I decided to buy, which we saved hard and we worked hard for it, but we bought a smaller apartment. We cut back our mortgage. We reduced our payments. We, didn't buy a car to suit the Joneses. We, really work on what is going to work for Jace and I. If I lose my income or Jace lost his income, could we work it on one income? So we really knuckled down and worked out, how we could live a little bit more of a basic lifestyle, but still enjoy some of the most basic things such as camping and the beach and things like that don't cost you a whole lot of money. So that's money for cocktails. You got to have money for cocktails, right? And when things are tight, it's just vodka and soda water. That's all it is.
That's really good too. Low calories.
Low calorie, exactly. So you can still have your drink and have a good time as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So
anything else?
No.
So again, I'm going to say again, we love doing this. We would appreciate it so much. If you could share our social media on which platform, because we've got a few platforms going at once, but if you could share it with 3 other people tonight and be able to grow our followers, and that's what we want to do, to be able to grow a bigger community. And also, please send us any other things you'd like us to talk about, or we'd love to hear your advice because that will help us to become better at what we do as well. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, Brooke. Nice to see you. Hope your week has been good and it's kicked off well. So exactly that. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you from wherever you are. So Monday nights is the night we're coming live. We're going to try and do it no matter how we're feeling. And if not, I'm going to put Jace up on the spot and he's going to do it without me. I think that's only fair. And like Jace said, we are so happy to come to you and be able to talk to you about what it is that's going on in our life. It is raw, it is real, and we will, pardon me, excuse me. So this is live. We will give you real life experiences. So again, don't forget to get Mel Robbins, her book. Like I said to you, it is absolutely amazing. Take control of your life if you are facing a few challenges that you're not really sure how to cope with or how to get through. And don't worry about yesterday. Don't worry about tomorrow. Just worry about getting through, or don't worry about today. Just take each day as it comes. Don't bite off more than you can chew, because when that happens, that's when we fall into places that are of despair and our anxiety, and then we can pass that down onto our children, and it makes it a hard road for everybody. It's just this cycle that no one can get off. So we need to be able to step up, change what's happening, and give our little people, something better to live towards. Exactly. How annoying. You gave me your bug, I think. It's your own bug. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you at the same time, same place next week. Thanks, everyone. Bye. See you guys.